For as inconsistent and unpredictable as 2020 has been overall, and pertaining to college football in particular, there's been one constant. Alabama football rolling week after week, and the Tide still rolls over Arkansas in this one, 52-3 on the road. We got Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama on the line to break down the Tide. Stephen, how are you?
Doing well, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Good to hear from you. I know that the Hogs played a couple good series right out of the gate, held Alabama out of the end zone, created a little bit on offense, and then it quickly deteriorated from there. Najee Harris, on one of his first few carries of the game, broke into the top 3 all-time in the Alabama rushing annals. So Alabama took it from there.
It did, and like you mentioned, Mark, that first drive for the Tide, they're kind of stumbling out of the gate there. Najee Harris had a difficult time maintaining his balance and his footing, but once you have the punt return touchdown of 84 yards from Devontae Smith, you can't say enough about the job that young man has done. But after Devontae Smith kind of got the party going there, then the Alabama offense followed suit with some touchdown runs there from Najee Harris, a big play from Jace McClellan to end the game, an 80-yard burst. So it kind of took the special teams to jumpstart the offense there.
And you mentioned Jace McClellan. I know that I was kind of surveying the depth chart, the roster, watching the pregame, and there was a lot of talk concerning getting some future stars into the game if it would have become that type of game, and it certainly did with a 7-touchdown spread. Did we see some of those guys that we anticipate being big players on this team for 2021 and 22?
We did. Jace McClellan got out there, had the 80-yard touchdown run. He finished with 95 yards rushing to lead the team. Roydell Williams got out there as well at running back. He had 19 yards on 5 carries, had a fumble in the game. Got to continue to protect the football. He knows that. Alabama coaching staff will continue to work with him on that. Javon Baker, the 4-star wide receiver from Georgia, got on the field, had a couple of catches in the game. Thayou Jones-Bell and Trayshawn Holden, 2 other true freshmen at wide receiver, got a chance to play. Didn't get any targets, but both of those 2 on the field. Also, Bryce Young at quarterback got into the game during the latter portion of during the middle portion of the third quarter. Sarkisian and Coach Saban let him throw it around a little bit, not too much. So you did see quite a few freshmen take the field. Brian Branch in the secondary grabbed his second interception of the season, so that was a good thing for that young man. And Tim Smith, I think Tim Smith had either a forced fumble or a fumble recovery for the Tide. So a few of these freshmen got a chance to get out there on the field, both offensively and defensively.
Stephen, when you put this type of talent in the mass and volume of talent together with the work ethic and the poise and the intensity that comes from the top, meaning Nick Saban, and not allowing his team to play to the opponent's level, but to play to a certain standard, then we get something out of Alabama that we rarely see. And that's that regardless of the opponent, that they're not going to sleepwalk through a game. They're going to finish a game. They're going to complete it. And they're going to be critical of their performance. And certainly even at 52-3 against an SEC opponent that has been competitive across the board in just about all their games. Again, that's the Alabama standard.
And as crazy and as unprecedented, Marcus, this season has been due to the coronavirus pandemic and how we have been able to, or how the SEC has been able to maneuver, weave its way through and adjust with COVID and everything that COVID presents, to see this Alabama team that did not have spring practice at all, did not have a traditional summer program, did not have a traditional fall camp. You've had players that did not play a lot this season due to testing positive for COVID. You had 4 assistant coaches last week against LSU that could not travel due to being in contact tracing for COVID. All of these things that have transpired, but yet you still get an Alabama team that finished undefeated 10-0 in this conference only 10-game schedule. You have to give a lot of credits, not just Coach Saban, but also the staff and just the mentality of these players to not let anything slip and not bring up any type of excuse whatsoever. It's just the mindset of these young men is remarkable.
I don't know if a lot of people are doing the math on what you just pointed out. So it's usually an 8-game season in the SEC. So you're expanding that to 10 against quality opponents. You're eliminating the FCS and the Group of 5 games, which largely make up the 4 non-conference games for most of the teams in the SEC. Most will play one Power 5 team. So basically, the records get compromised because you're playing 10 SEC games and that's it. And Alabama is able to sweep it 10-0. It's remarkable. So, Stephen, I assume that after the ball game, in the post-game conversations, the news conference, and the various interviews with the players, the attention quickly turned to Florida. Did anything come out, anything of note in regards to what players had to say about the matchup against the Gators?
Well, definitely, Coach Saban mentioned that the attention now turns to Florida. This team knows the explosive offense that the Gators have under Dan Mullen. Kyle Trask is having a Heisman caliber of a season. They've got weapons all around the field, led by Kyle Pitts at tight end, but Jacob Copeland's really good. Kadarius Toney is an incredible athlete coming from the state of Alabama. They've got Damian Pierce at running back. Now, of course, the Gators have not had to rely on that run game, but they can go to it and use it if they see fit to do so. So this is an Alabama team that knows what awaits them in Atlanta on next week. And going back to something that Nick Saban always mentions, trying to have as little or no mental errors as possible on the field. And today against Arkansas, had one play where Felipe Franks was able to create a little bit there on the edge and got a play there to the running back. But aside from that play, no big chunk plays given up here by this defense. So Coach Saban appreciating that, but he knows that Dan Mullen has something waiting for him next week.
All right. Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama doing his typical game day work there and making some time for us as well. Stephen, we appreciate you jumping on here with us and giving us the breakdown. Hopefully we can catch up sometime this week.
Absolutely, Mark. Y'all take care over there.
It's our guy, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama. Once again, Tide completes a perfect 10-0 regular season. A date in Atlanta to take on Florida for the 10th time that these two schools have met in the SEC championship game. That's a record for a conference title game that has gone back to 1992. And of course, the Gators and the Tide played in the first 3 of those, 1992, 3, and 4. Then again in 96 and 99. And then, of course, let's see, Urban Meyer and Nick Saban got together in 2008 and 9. And then a few more efforts with Jim McElwain on the sideline against Nick Saban, in which the Tide were dominant there in 2015 and 16. All right. We appreciate you jumping on board. Please smash the like button. Comment down below your thoughts about Alabama's dominance, the SEC championship game coming up, and subscribe to Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Hit that bell for the notifications. That way you know when we're going live. See you soon.